Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the most exciting half hour in television.
That's what I've heard.
Well, you've heard and you've lived it. You get to sit right here and
if people only knew the extent to which we go to create this kind of buzz, this kind of excitement. The studio is just why go to Disney World? You can come here and have all the fun in the world.
Tell you what, and it's only 30 minutes. The best 30 minutes of your life.
I don't know about that, but close second.
Well, gosh, we haven't had a show in a while, so we do have an awful lot to talk about.
Do we have one after Georgetown?
No, because we have Georgetown highlights we want to talk about.
Terrific.
So I can't even remember the Georgetown game. What happened?
No?
No.
We played well. I thought, I think we were a little bit worried about going into the Tennessee game, but Georgetown came in and, shorthanded a little bit. They
they only had
7 players.
Well, they had 8, and then but one of them didn't show.
We shot the ball really, really well. I mean, we're getting into a mode here where we're finding a lot of different ways to score. Whereas maybe in previous games earlier this season or even last year at times, we had difficulty spreading the ball around and finding enough scorers. And now, it's coming from a lot of different angles, inside, outside, and that accounts for all the points that we're putting up on the board. Our ball movement's a lot better.
Good Will.
Yeah. Will's had a pretty good week when you think about it. This is great hustle plays right here. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but Nicole's really had a big input into what we've done. So it's been that was kind of the start of our offensive turnaround a little bit. The Georgetown game really gave us a lot of confidence, and then we've scored a lot of points ever since then.
Has practice gone differently, that you've sensed things clicking a little bit better?
No, because we don't have as many chances to practice. It's all games. Maybe that's why we're playing well.
Maybe you're messing them up in practice.
Yeah, too much practice is a bad thing. I think we've done a couple things offensively to get the ball moving. Little subtle things, nothing major, but the other thing is people just becoming a little more familiar with each other. We tend to forget that we took 3 players out of the lineup that played a lot of minutes last year, Ashley and Jessica,
Right.
And now you're throwing them in with, new guards that are handling the ball all the time, and Brittany's in there, and
right.
So it's a little bit different, and it takes a little bit of time, and it doesn't just come, naturally. So it's just starting to catch up to us now. So,
you play really well against Georgetown, and then you go down to Tennessee, and I actually thought you guys were going to lose by a lot more than you did. I don't know. I just felt like whether it was their inside game or just at least what we have seen here, I didn't know if this team believed in itself enough to go down there into a very hostile environment.
Really?
But I thought the team, I'm being honest with you, but I thought you guys played great.
And you work for CPTV, who broadcasts our games.
What, I can't give an opinion?
So
just saying I thought you were going to lose? I didn't want you to lose, but I thought you were.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I thought we were going to get killed. But that's, going in, you're expecting the best and fearing the worst. And that's kind of how I always go into games where I'm not sure. Some games you just know you're going to win.
Right.
That game I was expecting the best. If we do X, Y, Z, we're going to win this game.
Right. And
if we don't do those things, I was fearing that we're going to get blown out. And we started the game off great. We were able to answer everything. We made some shots. We played good defense. And I thought with 2 minutes left, we're going to win the game. We did everything that we could to put ourselves in position to win the game. And then mentally, we had a couple breakdowns where in years past we wouldn't have had, and we would have won that game.
Right.
And then, you look back and you say, you're playing the #1 team in the country on their home court. You have to play almost the perfect game.
Right.
And what happened was silly fouls, silly turnovers, and even still with 2 minutes and some seconds left. Ann has a 3 to put us up 1. And, you get the lead with 2 minutes left. And they're a little bit, antsy. Anything could have happened. So we came out of there feeling like we let one get away. But at the same time, we did enough good things that we can build on.
You brought up Ann's name. I think Ann Struther is someone who has stepped it up in so many different ways this year.
Well, in a game like this, where you're not quite sure, how the young players are going to react, you really do need someone who's been in this game a lot. And Ann certainly has played in enough big games that she's not going to be intimidated by what's going on. She's been unbelievably consistent, which I think has been her biggest strength. She just, when Ann gets it going like this, it seems like she scores on every shot.
Right. She really does.
Yeah, she goes on these streaks where she's making every 3, and now she's developed a pretty good move off the dribble where, she can get away from you.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily in her game last year.
No, and I like to see her get to the free throw line more. When you shoot 90% from the free throw line, you need to shoot more free throws. And I think we can do that. I think we can get her to the line more as the season goes on.
Yeah, she's playing in the lane more, too. I mean,
she's rebounding better than she ever has.
Yeah, and I don't know if and we've talked about it during the broadcast, during the games, but she's playing inside. Like a lot of times she's playing a forward. Sometimes she jumps center to start the game, and she's guarding other players, other teams' post players, and this kid was playing point guard at times through her career.
Yeah, well, we forget that she is 6'3".
Yep, she's grown.
And it's a sad state of affairs when, your 2 guard from the year before is your starting center the following year, But at the same time, she creates a lot of mismatches for the other team.
Yeah.
And she played center in high school, somewhat, and on her AAU team. I mean, there's a lot of skills that Ann brings to the table.
Well, you say skills, and someone who has a lot of skills and is very talented, and we don't always see it, but we did see Sharday Houston play pretty well on Saturday.
Yeah, Planet Sharday was in full bloom down at Knoxville. She doesn't wear 24 by accident, maybe, and have the hair. She's our Manny, It's just Sharday being Sharday. We don't know what we're going to get, but we do know one thing: when she touches the ball, pretty good chance she's going to score. And so far we've been able to.
Surprised they didn't call it charge there. They called just about everything else you guys did.
They're the biggest floppers. For such a good team, they flop an awful lot.
How about the number of fouls that were called? I thought it was ridiculous.
Well, they made 27 free throws in the second half. At one stretch, they were 20 for 20 from the free throw line, which, to their credit, I mean, that's pretty good free throw shooting.
Yeah.
Out of those 27, maybe, you look at the free throw, 32 for 41. And of the 32 they made, let's say we give them 17 or 20.
Right.
Legit, that were stupid fouls.
Right.
There's like 5 or 6 calls that put them on the free throw line that you look at and you say, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. It always happens down there, though.
Oh, I always said to say, what's the key to beating Tennessee? Just make sure you're up 15 with 3 minutes to go so you can win by 3.
Yep, that's true. Well, a little bit on Sharday. I mean, she seems to, since that Tennessee game, I don't know if something happened in practice or she turned the switch on, but she seems to have played at a different level. Tennessee, Seton Hall, and then in your last game.
Well, I think she can play at a different level. I look at her and I see things that she does, and I say nobody else can do those things. But we're trying to get her to sustain it. There's no reason why someone, with her ability shouldn't be out on the floor 25, 26, 27 minutes every night. And
being very productive those minutes.
Yeah, and if she were to play 27 minutes every night, she'd probably be productive about 15 of those minutes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, what's the point of having her out there? Because you saw it last night. If you watched the game last night, she would come down, score, go down, play defense, come down, score, and then the next couple possessions, you know, it's hard for her to get anything done. So, you know, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails. You know,
that you don't like her, and see, and
no, it's not nothing to do about whether I like her or
well,
not.
but that's the perception that people have. I have a
It's got
thing
nothing to
here.
do with whether
Why
I
don't
like
you
her or not.
like her? And then there's another question. Maybe this, you know, maybe this isn't the right place for her. Should she go elsewhere, like
Yeah.
to Rutgers? That was one recommendation.
Yeah.
And I guess my question, because I think there's a misconception that you not playing people is because you don't like them.
I would play Charles Manson if I thought we could win games. The hell's that got to do with whether I like you or not?
Well, and that's what I want you to explain.
Yeah.
And the thing, and there was a good article in the paper today, which is Friday, about Renee Montgomery and how she's been playing very well and how you have put a lot of faith in her, that as a freshman you believe that if she plays a certain way, you guys can win the national championship. And she said, well, I like that he expects out of me and he's very hard on me and wants to get the best out of me, and I realize that and I don't take it personally.
You shouldn't
I think
take
a
it
lot of the fans take it personally that you yell
Oh, that's why
at
they're fans.
Charday.
That's why they're fans. You know, they're fanatics. If they come to practice, they'll see. We had a couple hundred people come to practice one day, and I said, I want you to watch what I watch every day, and then you tell me. And they were amazed. You know, the bottom line is, you know, if you ask Charday, you know, what happens? She says, well, you know, I whatever happens, he's right, because the expectation is you can't get tired of 4 trips up and down the floor. You know, so you're going to be limited in how much time you can play. Charday's playing time is limited because of Charday, not because of me. You know, I mean, why would I keep somebody that talented on the bench?
Right.
If I didn't, you know, if I
Right.
thought she could be productive out there. But again, if you watch the game last night, it's a perfect example. You know, she was so tired during one stretch. Kid catches the ball 3 feet from her, and she doesn't even move, and the kid knocks in a 3.
Yeah.
We go down the other end. She gets the ball at the top of the key, and like stumbles into a walk.
Yeah,
You know, because
yeah.
I mean, there's just things that happen, and they only happen because when she gets tired, she can't function.
Right.
So, you know, those people who think this is the wrong place for her, maybe you're right. I think the best place for her is in bed, sleeping. You know?
Well, let's move on to another player who I think has really turned a corner, and that is Brittany Hunter.
Yeah, and Brittany's almost in the exact same situation. You know, as long as you're able to be productive in terms of your conditioning is good, you're able to, you know, to do things.
I mean, she
You know, you
started
gotta-
that at the top of the key.
You got to play with energy.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have a little bit of life to your game. You know, and like right now, Brittany's working hard to get the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and I think she did the same thing last night. You're not going to be able to guard Brittany Hunter one-on-one. Okay? I mean, that was one of the best things we ran against Tennessee. I mean, that was executed perfectly right there. That's exactly the way it was. And when Brittany's in the game, when we sense that, you know, she's got that energy level high, we go to her as much as we can. And for her, the key now is keep building on it, keep
Right.
building on it, and keep building
Which
on it.
she seems to be doing.
She has, and she's found what her role is, and I think what's going to happen is her role is going to get bigger and bigger.
Sure, and that 47% field goal shooting, I think, is going to continue to go up and up, because she missed a lot of easy shots early because she was unsure and tentative. And
She's
there's-
shooting 47%.
Yeah,
And she had a stretch there where she was like 4 for 20.
yeah.
You know, so it's probably going to be in the 50s
Absolutely.
by the time it's over.
So, okay, so you lose to Tennessee, but I think it was, you know, as we said, a good game, well played. You come back, you play a Seton Hall team on the road, which is always a tough environment for you to play in, against a team that beat West Virginia in overtime, who's a really talented club, and who beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame by like 13 points. So you go down there and you destroy them.
Well, that was somewhat unexpected, I think. I thought we'd play well, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Because, you know, if you're a competitor, anytime you lose, you're going to come back and you're going to play, you know, with a little sense of urgency, you know. And I thought that the game was going to be played in kind of a walk it up, slug it out. That's the way the games are down there. Nothing comes easy. But what ended up happening was we just started right from the opening tap, looking to score every.
Right.
I mean, sometimes we, dilly-dally around on offense. We were looking to score on every dribble, every pass, and we got them on their heels a little bit. And then they made a little bit of a run, but it just never ended for 40 minutes.
How much do you credit with that offensive mentality to the play of Renee Montgomery?
Well, obviously, Renee came off that game against Tennessee, and I said, I don't remember having a point guard who, unless they were told to, not attempt any shots. I mean, you got the ball like 90% of the time.
Right.
You can do whatever you want with it.
Right.
So if you choose not to shoot, if you choose not to score, try to score anyway.
Right.
Something's wrong. And I think when I showed them, Renee and Keisha and Mel, what their production was against Tennessee,
right.
they were amazed.
Right.
Like they couldn't believe that Alexis Hornbuckle got more accomplished by herself than the three of them combined.
And then this is what she did just a few days later.
Yeah. So it's, people say, well, what's your frustration, sometimes with kids? That you see in them things that they don't see in themselves, and then it's your job to get it out of them. And in this case, Renee's a scorer. She's a point guard, but she's a scorer.
Right.
And, I got to believe that the Renee that played against Tennessee is not the real Renee. That the one we saw against Seton Hall is more like the Renee Montgomery we recruited.
Well, I think the team as a whole, I don't know if it took a lead from her, but the three-point shooting was pretty impressive against Seton Hall.
Well, we've shot the ball really well, I think, for a while now.
Yeah.
We're getting, as I said, we're getting good ball movement.
A lot of different sources
yeah,
for getting points.
If we're going to get threes from, Ann and Mel, and then Nicole knocks a couple in, and we're just, if you got to guard every spot on the floor, that's difficult. For Seton Hall to get back in transition and then have to guard that spot,
especially on the break.
It's hard.
You guys are getting threes on the break, and that kills defenses.
Yeah. And a lot of times you run fast breaks to get layups, but we don't have those kind of finishes. Like when we had Sveta and Shea and those guys, Keisha, we just swing. We would outrun people and get layups on the break. Now it's a little more, delayed, and it's, running the break to get threes.
Well, I thought you showed great restraint even during and after the Tennessee game, because I thought the officiating was pretty bad. But you did have a moment against Seton Hall, which we couldn't resist.
Really? Why
Ann
is that?
picks up her third foul.
Well, did you guys show it? You showed a replay of that foul?
Yeah, we will.
Well,
with your salmon tie.
Well, it's an effort to cut down my cholesterol. They said either eat better, exercise. I said,
you
wear a
got to
salmon
chew with
tie.
your mouth closed, though. Ooh.
Well, that's not very becoming of a coach to do that stuff, and I can't believe that you guys spent that much time on it.
It wasn't that much time, trust
now,
me.
That's a foul?
That's hideous.
That's the most unbelievable call I've ever seen in my life. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With all the stuff
hideous.
going on, you're going to make that call?
Right.
Away from the ball when the ball's not even being passed into the post or anything?
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to criticize officials, but some of them are just stupid.
Yeah.
There is a point in time where you got to understand the game. This is what's going on in the game, and I know they have a difficult job to do, and there's enough fouls there to go around for everybody. Trust me, you don't have to look for them. Enough fouls are going to happen on their own. Enough violations are going to happen right there in front of your eyes. You don't have to look to find something to call.
And a lot of times they do, and it's frustrating because it's tough to play in an environment like that.
I mean,
it is.
Well, if you're a player,
you don't know what to do.
What are you supposed to do?
Right.
I watched the tape of Seton Hall playing West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I saw 3 officials standing in their designated areas.
Right.
And I saw Meg Bolger start her cut and slam into a kid. Nothing. Then I saw her try to get through a screen, same possession. Kid punched her, and she punched the kid, and they bounced off each other. There's a ref underneath the basket, one on the sideline, nothing happened. So you say to yourself, kids don't know what they can do and what they can't do.
Right, because of the inconsistency.
It's unbelievable.
And it is frustrating.
It is frustrating. And, 90% of the officials do an unbelievable job. The other 10%, all work our games. It's just a joke. Come on, don't call. No.
Well, let's move
I'm
on
just
to
kidding. Go ahead.
let's move on to Cincinnati because
The Queen City.
yeah, I thought the first half little suspect. Not a whole lot of defense was played, but
Well,
a solid performance
It's a
overall.
great play there
It
by
was.
Keisha. Keisha really pushes the tempo for us, and it's great. But offensively, I'll tell you what, those two kids are loving it. But look at this. I mean, what do you call that?
Yeah.
And then because we take a horrible shot, look, we gave up more uncontested layups.
Oh, look at you playing some defense.
Oh, good. And that's the first play of the second half. Nicole made a great play. And that's when we get our ball movement going like that, we're really difficult to guard. But I think what turned it around for us was defensively. We made a couple changes, changed the way we defended them. We still don't rebound the ball as much as I like. For all the people that write in and call about how nice our girls are and how sweet and lovely and what a bunch of girly girls we have, let me tell you something. I'd rather have a couple more people like that rebound the basketball, or we're going to be in trouble. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Coming down and running our break to find open three-point shooters.
How about and defensively these days, blocking shots.
Yeah. There's another
Mixing
play
it
right
up.
there. Being able to find people.
You find people.
That's the secret to success. You just got to find people. Me too.
Well, the team
It
really
sounds so simple.
the team really responded. I don't know what did you say at halftime? Was it?
I didn't say anything. What is there to say? I mean, you just give up 43 points in the first half.
Yeah.
There's teams that don't get 40 on us in a game. So, and some of it was my fault. I mean, I told them. I said, look, I think we were in the wrong defense a lot of times. We shouldn't be pressing this much. So I take some responsibility for that. Obviously, I mean, that's my job to get them in the right defense. So we're in the wrong defense, and it led to a lot of problems. And I told them that. And I said, we're going to change defense in the second half, do a couple of things a little bit differently. Don't get out on them as much, contain the ball and make sure we got everybody in front of us. And, we did. And it turned the whole game around.
All right, so coming up.
Great coaching adjustment.
Oh, sure. St. John's is coming up after this show, and what a turnaround they've had.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
they go to Notre Dame, they beat Notre Dame.
It
was at home.
That was at home. St. John's, you're talking about one of the all-time worst situations in history. I thought the two worst situations I've ever seen in our league were Providence the last couple of years and St. John's before Kim got there.
Yeah.
And now Providence has turned it around.
Yeah.
And
Kim Barnes-Arico has done a phenomenal job.
Has done an unbelievable job at St. John's. I mean, the change in St. John's from before Kim to now, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
And they're getting players from New York. They're getting
players from Connecticut.
They're getting players from Connecticut. They're really, I think, one of the programs that I think has made the conference better.
Sure. Now, and then after tonight's game, after the show, is the big game Monday against LSU.
Yep,
Talk
LSU.
a little bit about. I mean, they've got some studs.
Yeah, they've got two, players that people think may be the two best players in the country at their position. You got Sylvia Fowles, inside, big kid, and then Simone Augustus, who's everyone's preseason player of the year. So we've got our hands full. They're big, they're quick, they're athletic, they're smart. They're used to winning, and they're really well coached. So, Mondays.
What should we expect from you guys? Are you going to change? I mean, are you going to do anything?
No, I mean, what are we going to do? We're gonna play. There's no tricks, no nothing. It's just, we're gonna go play. It's.
Who's key for you guys? I mean, like you said at Tennessee, you have to have, what was it, 5 guys, 3 guys?
Well, yeah. Like when you're playing really, really good teams like that,
everyone's got to play.
Everybody's got to play well, but more importantly, your guards have to play really, really well. You can't win if just your guards play well. But as we proved in the Tennessee game, if your guards don't play well, you can't. You have no shot. So I think Renee, Keisha, Mel, they're the key. If they play well, Ann will take care of herself. Barbara, Sade, Brittany, those guys will do their thing. They always do. But Mel, Keisha, Renee. If those
All
three
right.
guys play well, we're going to win.
All right. Well, thank you very much. If you can believe this, we are out of time.
Oh,
It's the
no
most
more-
exciting
no
half hour. It went
emails,
like that.
no
We didn't get a
emails.
chance to get to the questions. We will do that next show. I promise you we will do that. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.